Well, I'll be honest, I had planned on making probably a normal F1 career mode video today, but it's safe to say today is not a normal day in the world of Formula 1. If somehow you've been living under a rock so far this afternoon, Lewis Hamilton is apparently on the verge of signing a deal with Mercedes. Right, can we just take a moment? I'm editing this video back. How much of a moron did I have to be to say Mercedes rather than Ferrari? This is already not getting off to a good start. Now, I'm recording this video at about 1:30. Things are changing rather rapidly, so I'll kind of explain as to what I know right now. Maybe by the time this video has gone live, the news has already broken. But yesterday, of course, Formula 1 announced that Andretti, they weren't allowed in. Which, to be fair, this has come at fantastic timing for them. But then, later on in the evening, obviously, people were understandably rather upset about that. I was going to make a video talking about that today, but thought, yeah, this is slightly bigger news. After that, Will Buxton. Now, I will admit, he often tweets a lot of garbage, to be completely honest. But this one was rather interesting. He said, yes, the Andretti news is terrible, but that being said, there is meant to be bigger news revealed by the end of the week. Now, none of us really knew what that meant, you know, from the man that said if you qualify first, you start ahead of everyone else. It could have been anything in the world. But then this morning, we started getting rumblings. At about 8:30, 9 o'clock, the first kind of talks came in that Hamilton might be moving to Ferrari. Then by about 11 a.m, Sky Sports, they dropped the bombshell. They were like, Hamilton is meant to be moving to Ferrari for 2025. It's huge news, it's crazy news, but apparently it's going ahead. Then, by about 11:30, Chris Medland, who is a fantastic F1 journalist and normally is pretty spot on with these kind of things, came out confirming that talks had reached finalisation stages. Allegedly, at 2 p.m, Toto Wolff is meant to be hosting an internal meeting with every single member of Mercedes Formula 1 team. You know, I assume only to obviously announce that either, yes, the rumours are true, or no, they're not. That being said, though, with how much speculation is being thrown around, you know, something like this wouldn't be this talked about if it wasn't very, very well believed that it was going to be going through. So it looks like it's the real deal. It looks like after what will effectively be 12 seasons with Mercedes at the end of this year, Lewis Hamilton will be moving on. Now, I'll be honest, you know, I've been a Lewis Hamilton fan ever since he came to the sport back in 2007. It was the first year I watched the sport. You know, I've basically been a fan of him ever since. I think what he does both on and off the track are just absolutely incredible. You know, in my eyes, maybe the GOAT. We'll talk about that in just a moment's time. But, you know, for so many years, he kind of said, you know, he'd stay with the Mercedes family until the end of his career. You know, he didn't really want to go anywhere else. But as we know, Ferrari is just that little bit different. I think a lot of people are kind of wondering why on earth he's heading there. You know, why does it make sense? Does it make sense? You know, who benefits from this? I don't think Lewis is too worried about whether he wins a world championship with Ferrari or not. I think, you know, as the driver that's won the most Grand Prix ever in the sport, the most pole positions, the joint most championships, if you've got the opportunity to join Ferrari, because at the end of the day, cliches aside, they are bigger than Formula 1. They are the only team that is bigger than Formula 1. If you've got the opportunity to drive one of those Scarlet Red cars, I think you're going to take it. You know, Hamilton is at that point in his career where he has proved to everyone what he is capable of. You know, I don't think he's really got to prove anything. I genuinely don't believe he's going into this with the mindset of, I should win a Formula 1 World Championship. But let's just take a second to imagine if he did. If Lewis Hamilton was to bring home an 8th World Championship and he did it with Ferrari, I think that would make him the undisputed GOAT of Formula 1. Personally, I think he's in the same league as Ayrton Senna. For me, they are just the top two pinnacle drivers. Just a little bit ahead of Schumacher. I know it's controversial, but it is my opinion at the end of the day. But I think, yeah, if Lewis Hamilton goes there, and it's a huge if he were to win a world title, that would be it. done and dusted as well. I think if he did win a world title, that will be him, career done. He would quite happily go away and do whatever else he wants with his life as well, and fair play to him if that obviously did end up becoming a reality. Now, what does this mean for Mercedes? Honestly, I don't think anyone knows right now. George Russell, I'm sure this year's car, if Hamilton gets confirmed, this year's car will be completely set up around him. I don't blame Mercedes for that. It's obviously the wise move. They've got Kimi Antonelli into Formula 2 this year. If he has a good enough campaign and picks up the super license points, he could be in that Mercedes Formula 1 car at 18 years old, which is absolutely mad. I don't quite know when his birthday is in the year, but there's the slim possibility that he could break Max's what felt like an unbeatable record of becoming the youngest ever Grand Prix winner in Formula 1, which would be absolutely insane in its own right as well. But yeah, I'll be honest, it's weird. Like I said, I've been following Hamilton, his time in Formula 1 since I was 7 years old. The last couple of years have been odd, trying to work out what it's going to be like not watching this, this sport that I love so much, and I love it, a big part thanks to Lewis Hamilton. What am I going to do when he's gone? More worryingly, Ferrari, pretty much throughout my time in the sport, have always been, the enemy, if you will. Back when Hamilton was fighting them when he was at McLaren through, 2007, 2008, the early 2010s, obviously, 15, 17, 18, 19, Ferrari have always been the big rival. Red Bull, don't get me wrong, have been a threat as well. Obviously 10 through 13, obviously they were winning their championships, 2021 the last couple of years as well. It's going to be weird, suddenly feeling like I've got to root for Ferrari. Now, some of you might call that glory supporting or anything like that. I follow Formula 1 more for the drivers than I do for the teams. It's just the way I like to do things. Especially with someone like Lewis, I personally just feel he brings so much to the sport. And, probably without him, would I be as interested in Formula 1 now as I always have been? Maybe not. You just don't know. Do I feel about him and Charles Leclerc going up together? I think this could potentially make or break Charles Leclerc's career. Of course, he's Ferrari's darling. We've been saying this for years. He came into that team and he pretty much immediately got the better of Sebastian Vettel. What happens now if Lewis Hamilton gets the better of him? Will Lewis Hamilton get the better of him? Will this Ferrari team still be completely set up in Charles Leclerc's favour as the number one? If it is, I don't see why Lewis would be signing. I feel like he would be staying at Mercedes. There's got to be some kind of agreement in place that stipulates that, he gets fair treatment with Charles Leclerc. Is this the biggest move of all time in Formula 1? It's got to be right up there. It's up there with Schumacher coming back. It's up there, I'd argue bigger than Seb going to Ferrari from Red Bull. It's your Senna going to Williams from McLaren. It is going to be one of those moves that's looked back on in 20, 30 years' time. It will be measured against, it will be judged critically, and I think it's absolutely incredible. Of course, I might release this video, and Lewis Hamilton comes out saying, yeah, that's not happening. You just don't know yet, but it's been an absolutely ridiculous day. I wanted to get my 2 cents on it to you guys as well. Obviously, Jamie and I are planning on doing a Knowing Wheel episode tonight, so I'll make sure I leave a link to the channel down in the description below as well. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on everything that is going on as well, and we'll be back very soon with more Formula 1 content.